right, so we talked about process. Now, this is the Lemco 9-step sales process. All right. Again, a process designed to get somebody from point A to point B as easy and as painless as possible. All right. You notice now this process here, without process, you have chaos. Okay. And we talk about, putting your customers into a process. And what's a lot of feedback we get is, well, my customers, every deal is unique. I get that. They are. So think of it as the sake of a touchdown in an NFL game. All right. All touchdowns are different. Some you have like raising flying catches with dragging toes in the end zone, and other times you're just pounding through the line. All right. But what I can tell you is that the process and the plays that get you down the field that give you the ability to score a touchdown are pretty much the same and can be put into a process. So one team doesn't beat another team because they're bigger and stronger. One team beats another team because they play with a process. All right? Lack of process is what causes you to lose the game. So customers are the same thing. Deals are the same thing. Not all deals are the same. I get that. But when you have a process, you're going to cover the vast majority of everybody coming through the door. What this is not going to do is be a blanketed answer to every situation that comes through. Okay? So, notice when we talk about this, this is an inverted triangle. It's designed that way for what? For time. It's time and effort. Time and effort. Energy. How much energy do you put forth in a specific situation? So, in the greet, when you preload and fill the funnel from the top and spend the most amount of time and energy in the greet, it becomes easier and less complicated as you get down to the close. All right, it's an inverted triangle. It's not designed the other way around, and so often you see it that way, where it's designed like people are processing it like this, and they go up and they meet a guy real quick, and then they go running through the process to get to the sit down and the write up to try to close a deal, and all the meanwhile you're making it harder and more complicated, and that's not what it's supposed to be. You want to spend your time and your energy up top. The more time and energy you spend up in the greet, the easier and less complicated it becomes. All right, so. We have it as an inverted triangle for that purpose. Now, why do you think the greet is the most important aspect and probably the most amount of training you're going to get out of everything that we do? The gross is in the greet. Everything's in the greet. All right? Now, every process you're ever going to go through, every sales training you'll ever go through, whether it be car, selling appliances, selling motorcycles, doesn't really matter. It's going to be the greet, meet your customer, ultimately sell them the product. That's the ultimate goal. Starts with a greet, ends with that. All right. I like taking this a step further. As a former sales manager, when I was on the floor with my guys, I manage the floor, make sure all my customers are being handled, make sure everybody's taken care of. And I never use the word, did you greet that guy? Did you talk to that guy? That vocabulary got dropped. Did you engage with that customer? Well, he's interested in that bike over there. Well, did you engage with him? Did you get to know him? Did you connect with him? All right. That's what the greet truly is. It's about connection and engagement and getting to know your person, okay? The purpose of this and spending your time up there to fill the funnel is the fact that the better you do at the greet, there's objections and goals to each step. You do not want to move to the next step until you've accomplished the goals of the step prior, okay? So, we're not going to move from the greet to the probe until we've accomplished the two goals of the greet, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. So a lot of times we get the question of, well, a customer comes in, they just want to know a price right away. All right, well, we can't train our customers. All right, so the fact that we can't train the customers, if a guy walks in, he's already right, well, give me your best price out the door on this bike, and he wants to jump right to a sit down. Well, we can't train them, so it's our responsibility to take them back up. All right, you can't go back, you can't go down without going back up first. All right, so if the guy comes in and the customer's driving the sale, you're the professional. You don't want them to know they're being processed, but keep them in the process and take them back up to the greet. How do we do this? What are techniques? We can get into that. But the gross is in the greet. It all comes down to the greet. Work that, take your time and your energy, fill that funnel, work your way down, ultimately get you better to the close. Now, we told you this is a 9-step selling process, and it's 2 inverted triangles there. We're going to concentrate on the first 6. Why is that? Well, it's because you don't have control over this as a salesman. Okay? So as a salesman, you do not have control over the close, the F&I, and the delivery. You have control over everybody you meet, correct? How well you engage them and how well you meet them. You have control over the probe. Tell me about what you're looking for in this motorcycle. You have control over having them sit down on the bike. Move it out of the line. Sit on this thing, man. Sit on it. Don't ask them to. Tell them to. You have the ability to go through and do a good quality presentation with FABs. Do you have a good quality? Do you have the ability to sit them down? Come on over. Let's talk numbers. You have the ability to get a signed commitment from every customer. Now, this is where a lot of people cringe and say, I can't deal with everybody. Well, I can promise you something. Somewhere between $0 and $1 million, that guy's willing to take home that motorcycle. So you have the ability to get a signed commitment to buy from everybody who walks in the door that day. All right, no those guy's wife is going to kill him because he went home with a free motorcycle. It's like winning the lottery. So, realistically, somewhere between 0 to $1 million, you have the ability to get every customer to come in there and sign on the dotted line, commitment to buy today. We don't have control over. Do you have control over the margin of the deal? No. So just because the guy said, I'll take it for $10, doesn't mean you have the ability to do so. So the close goes to the management. F&I management, because you don't have the ability to control whether or not the bank is buying that lender or buying that guy. And then the delivery of the bike, it goes two ways. Sometimes it goes back to the salesman. Sometimes it goes to a service department. Sometimes there's a fake salesman in the service department giving the image that service is doing the delivery of the bike. So because that can go either direction. Ultimately, management sometimes back to the salesman, but depends on the situation. So we're going to concentrate on this. And again, each step has objectives. You do not want to move from step 1 to step 2 without completing the goals of step 1. All right. And again, spend your energy and your time up in the greet. Work your way down. Make this. It's not supposed to be harder and more complicated as it goes down the line. It's supposed to get easier and less complicated. Spend your time up there. We're going to break down each step along the way.